So Yojo June is officially in the books, but things are just heating up for G.I. Joe Classified Series fans. We got the official reveal for the Classified Series HasLab Snow CAT. This thing is incredible. It is amazing. Basically everything I wanted for a Classified Series Snow CAT. This covers it. It gives us so much more. The tears. It's amazing. It's incredible. I couldn't fund and pre-order that thing fast enough. But like any self-respecting collector, after I did that, after I watched the video a few times, my next thought was, well, what else could we get? What else could play along perfectly with a Snow CAT? My guy Jamelin said, I know you're working on a video. And I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about it. And yeah, it's going to come out faster than I thought because I just kept coming up with different ways they could implement new figures and new vehicles that could go along, maybe encourage more people to back this thing before the funding window is open. And hey, we've got San Diego Comic-Con coming up later on this month, maybe with some of those reveals that maybe could help sell the Snow CAT. Let's break down all those possibilities. Take a look at the Snow CAT one more time right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. And yeah, the excitement, the hype for the Snow CAT is real. It's here. And oh, absolutely, it's going to get funded. I mean, right now, I just did this a few moments ago. It needs 8,000 to have the base funding done so it can get started with production. Well on its way. It's at 5,379 backers already. I don't even know. I guess now we have officially hit 24 hours. So we're just about done. Hopefully by maybe Thursday's live for Figure Files, we can actually talk about it getting funded. And then the start begins for all those tiers. But I don't want to really rush through that. Let's talk really quickly about all the cool options in our base offering of the Snow CAT. Of course, we get Frostbite, the driver, the pilot. He looks amazing. He's got some really nicely sculpted heads. And again, my only one thing that I was kind of hoping is that Sirius Stern portrait could have a swappable deal where the hat and the comm gear comes off so we can actually have that Sirius expression with the base look without having to have this headgear set up. But then we've got the amazing Snow CAT. Hopefully, they've heard us in the chats and all the comments and all the videos. Don't make these yellow, keep them blue. That looked really cool in the video. So hopefully we'll see that happen. They've got so much cool stuff, so many great elements to it. Got the handlebars here so you can put more Joes in the back, Snow Job, Alpine, and then you've got 4 Joes that can fit in here as well. Or you can go the classic setup with the missile rack, and this rotates 360 degrees. You've got your 4 rockets. They've got the exhaust port set up perfectly now, so it's not sticking out from here, but the exhaust actually can plug out through the back. That's really cool. The one element that I think a lot of us were like, maybe this would be something y'all could switch up and change is removing this whole compartment deal that goes over here, just dumping it, having our snow pedos just sit flush against there all on their own, just like the original Snow CAT. Don't really need this. It'd be great to have it as a separate option. Maybe we could just stack more Joes on top of it. They can rest on it, but we don't really need it because the snow pedos were such an iconic part of the visual of it. And I don't want them hidden so much. So it would be really good to have this as a piece where you can have it if you want, but you don't have to have it as part of the display. So that's what we get when all 8,000 backers, once we hit that mark, this is everything we'll get. So that's pretty cool. But then there's some really cool tiers as well. We've got the really fun Arctic Gear Lady J, the Biovac. Hopefully I pronounced it right this time. I mean, it's a full-on play set. It's amazing. And then we got Flint in his Arctic Gear, and we just need 14,000 backers to lock up everything. So we're less than 10,000 away from getting that done. So that's pretty exciting. So we're rolling. Let's keep the momentum going. G.I. Joe Classified Series fans, collectors, obsessive nuts like me. Let's talk about it. So, like Jamelin said, there's so much to do that we could add on to it. And my gears were immediately shifting like, hey, what are some things that Hasbro could deliver to us, maybe even reveal at Comic Con later this month? Because we're in July now, and I have to keep going next month at Comic Con. Feels like Christmas countdown for figure collectors is almost here. So after the end of the day, I'm going to cross off July 1st. I was about to say January, July 1st, and start the countdown because it's almost time for Comic Con. And that's a great time for all of us. And I was thinking, like, what are some strategies that Hasbro's done in the past? What are some lessons that they've done that could kind of inform and educate us? What's in store for Comic Con? What stuff we could see to complement this snowcat? So, first off, let's take a look at the original HasLab we got from them way back in 2022, the His Tank, and they were learning, like, all of us do, hopefully. So this was a big, massive deal. It was like, oh wow, we got a His Tank. This is so amazing. 8,000 backers, and it ended with 26,772. So I feel pretty comfortable saying, yeah, everything for the Snowcat is going to get funded, no problem. Now this went up pretty much the same time as the Snowcat. It started June 29th and it ended in August 15th. So well on its way to keep rolling. And, I think it'll follow the pattern pretty closely. But you can look here and you can see their original plan was all right, we're going to get this out to everybody some point soon. According to this, it shipped in the summer of 2024, which is not accurate. I don't know quite why it says that. I feel like that was when we got our Dragonfly, because that's when I was putting that up on the shelf. But around that same point in time in 2023, when we were actually getting this, I had to remember, thanks to my buddies over at Toy Habits, all the complementary parts. They started going, hey, now you've got a His Tank, you can add these elements to it. So start off with the Strike Team 788 Fire Team, and it's not on Pulse anymore, but you can still check it out. Grab it right now if you missed it over on Big Bad Toy Store. And this was a cool complimentary deal. I didn't get this set because I was like, I don't need variations of Cobra Troopers and a Range Viper. I'm pretty happy with what I've got for it. But this was a nice option, kind of lets you know they were thinking ahead of time. What else can we add to make this His Tank more of a thing? So you can see the wreckage of the Dragonfly in the background, which is kind of like, hey, I don't think we got the His Tank last summer. Anyway, so this Strike Team, I don't know why I keep calling it Strike Team. I think it just sounds cooler than Fire Team. But this came out 2023, right around the time that everybody was getting their His Tank. So that was pretty cool. But of course, this was late because if this could have helped convince more collectors. Oh, I want to get the His Tank because I can also add the Fire Team. And they also, that wasn't it in terms of what they were offering to sell the His Tank further, even though you couldn't get it at this point, was this massive deal, the SMS and Techno Viper. So of course we got that repainted as the HMS or MMS in Colonel Hawk, which is very exciting. Can't wait to get him. But so this was all shown at Comic Con in 2023. So it was like, oh, great. These are really cool elements that I can add to the playability, to the whole universe around my His Tank. But I'm thinking the Classified Series team is like, oh, yeah, now we know what we're doing. We've got a better handle on it. So we're going to time our big HasLab with our Comic-Con presentation to convince people who might be on the fence. Oh, they are building up this HasLab's environment. So here's some stuff that they're going to use to further sell us for everybody who didn't back it immediately, like me and a bunch of you all did. So let's take a look at some of those options they could use to help sell us later on this month. So I started thinking right away, like the Fire Team, what's an easy way for them to translate something else, maybe do a little bit of repaint action and get us really excited about it. I had to go way, way, way back, all the way to issue 2 of G.I. Joe. And I think this could be a set of 3, maybe 4 figures that would make a lot of sense to help sell the Snowcat. And issue 2 was like one of the most expensive, in-demand issues of G.I. Joe back in the day because of everything that happened. This was a really cool issue. Just a 4-man Joe squad with Stalker leading Snake Eyes, Scarlet, and Breaker on a mission to stop Cobra from figuring out. They were on their way. I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't read it, but it was a really cool issue. Just 4 Joes. This cover is a little bit misleading because not everybody's just rocking this, but the basic thing is intact. The Joes are rocking parkas and they've got their outfits. So it's kind of a uniform look. Not a lot of unique sculpting here. Once you get your coat set up, it's just painting them up a little bit differently, sort of like what we saw the Cold Slither set. So here's those different outfits. So you can see a lot different than the cover. Stalker wearing a white parka, Breaker basically sticking to the generic Joe green, Snake Eyes with a black jacket. This guy's a ninja. He does absolutely not care about blending into the Arctic here. He's like, I'm wearing all black. Come get me. Scarlet's wearing a brown outfit. So you can see it's a little bit of a mix mash of colors, but I think this would be really fun to put these four Joes out in the snow, kind of around your Snow Cat. That would be cool. But I'm thinking if I'm really in the heads of Hasbro, like I kind of feel like I am with the Classified Series team. We seem to be on the same page a lot of the time. What we will get is a 3-pack of Scarlet. She can basically reuse the Lady J mold, and Stalker can reuse the Flint mold. And of course, there's nothing else to stop them from using the same thing with Breaker. Maybe just give him long gloves. Looks like Stalker has the same deal. They're just white. Make that a 3-pack. But if you just have them as a 3-pack, what about Snake Eyes? Surely we can't put Snake Eyes out by himself. Of course not. That would be crazy. Let's further incentivize people to buy this other character by packaging him with Snake Eyes. And who else would that be? Well, of course, gotta go. I'm talking issue 2. I'm talking about Quinn. Quinn is the Boba Fett of the G.I. Joe mythos for longtime comic book fans. This guy wasn't around for a long time, but he was here for a good time. And you can see Quinn looks massive. He's an Eskimo and he is so cool. I mean, look at the skull necklace, the bullets hanging out there. He's got a machine gun, 30 cal. He's massive. Clearly, he needs to be built on the Roadblock, the Sergeant Slaughter mold. And I think using a newly sculpted parka hood for Quinn, you could also use it for Roadblock, or just Roadblock because Sergeant Slaughter's not running around the snow. But I think this would be a great figure of Quinn that we could package with that Snake Eyes. And Snake Eyes at the end of the issue is actually rocking Quinn's necklace. So that's something, of course, should be separate that you can remove and put on Snake Eyes if you so desire. But Quinn would be amazing to get in this line. And that's not the only Quinn figure I want, of course. I'm going to need this one. This basically the same look that we got earlier from Hasbro. So they know Quinn exists. They know we want Quinn figures. And you can see he's got the necklace. This is his non-snowy look. And of course, I'm going to need that. And I think, again, they'll do the smart thing, package him up with some other characters for people who don't know who Quinn is, who've never read the comic books. You should. It's amazing. And I think what they'll do, package him up with Dr. Venom, who, again, people who never read the comic book are going to go, who? This guy. Great bad guy, awesome villain, absolutely needs to be a figure. He was also featured in the newest Image Comics, the Energon Universe version. Thank you to Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley for spotlighting my guy, Dr. Monev, aka Dr. Venom. But you see here, Snake Eyes in his original classified black, his original Real American Hero look, still really expensive. And I think this would be an easy way to get those three. Get Snake Eyes, make him affordable for everybody. Get Quinn, get Dr. Venom. These guys are not related to the snow, though, so let's keep it going with more snow-themed characters. And of course, in my excitement yesterday, I forgot to mention, we've already got more snow stuff coming. We've got Snake Eyes going against the polar bear. It's not a battle bear, but he is battling a polar bear. And this, of course, is a straight up homage to the cartoon, the original miniseries. So you can see he's got the catalytic elements, he's got the canister, he's got the laser rifle from the cartoon, and he's got radioactive hands. That's fun. But he's also got the cartoon colored outfit. That's amazing. So you can see they're all about the cartoon love, and that's really cool. And maybe that can kind of educate us on what other thing we could see next or in a few more weeks at Comic-Con. He's been name dropped already, but I gotta make sure, so I gotta put him out here. My guy Flash, We got to get Flash back in this mix. He's been name dropped. He's got his laser rifle with Glinda. He is heavily featured in this scene. And of course, you've got all these characters. We've got Tripwire, we've got Snowjob, we've got Scarlet, we got Snake Eyes in cartoon colors. We've even got a snake. And hopefully that'll be coming before September. And that'll be really fun. So all we need is my guy Flash so we can have this one shaking his transistors. But also, we kind of need another important character who is prohibitively expensive. Snow Job. I mean, it's just there's no reason to have a snow environment without the greatest Snow Joe, Snow Job. And this deluxe figure was incredible, absolutely amazing. Amazing. This was an awesome figure. I bring him out every time there's snow in my area now, and he just has so much great stuff. But you can see he's super expensive. 135, 124, 112, where the players dwell, 95, 98, 76. He is really, really expensive. And he's sold out pretty fast on Pulse. So we need to get him back out there. And I think the easiest way to do this, and this would be the perfect time, since you've got your big winter themed vehicle, is to put Snowjob back out as a retro figure. Shout out to our guys at 3djoes.com for the images. Snowjob doesn't need all the great stuff for the deluxe one. Just keep it simple, keep it basic. Give him the backpack, give him the poles, give him the skis, give him a rifle. And he doesn't even need all those cool multiple head sculpts. Just give him one. Make it feel like a streamlined deal so people who got the deluxe and don't feel gypped off, you could brighten up the colors, just go simple, more of that white with a little bit of accents of brown and black. Call it a day. We've got Snow Job back in line for everybody else who missed out on this amazing figure before. So then, of course, we officially have everything from that moment in Revenge of Cobra, and we could do that. And man, how much fun would that be? So, what other figures make the most sense to include? I didn't want to say every snow themed vehicle. G.I. Joe has a bunch of them, but here are some that I think could make a lot of sense. And since we've got a bunch of stuff for G.I. Joe, I think it makes sense to have something for Cobra. And let's start off with the Ice Snake. Now, this is not a common though this is not a common snow vehicle that I think a lot of people have on their checklist for Cobra vehicles they want to see. But I think this one could work as something to battle the Joes in the snow. And it's small, part of the battle course. So, this is in the dying days of Cobra and G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero line. But I think this could work. As you can see, it's pretty small. It's a little bit like the Thing. So the ferret. There we go. It's about the size of a ferret. It's got the big wheels. It's got skis in the front. So I think if you take a look at that ferret, pretty similar. I mean, it's a compartment set up here, cockpit for the driver. It's got a roll cage canopy. So I think this could work. And then you got space for another Cobra to be on the back to shoot the missile launcher. I feel like this isn't too far off from the ferret size. So we could make this a Pulse exclusive, time it up, have it all set, the renders for Comic-Con, and have this coming out maybe in wintertime, maybe December 2025. How much fun would that be? Maybe price it like $70. It doesn't necessarily need to have a driver. It did not come with one. So there's more incentive to just get this out to us easily and quickly. I know the ferret had a driver. We don't necessarily need to have one. We've got tons of snow serpents, but this is one way that we could really make this happen. Small vehicle to go against your Snow Cat and maybe make this affordable around that $60 price point. So people maybe could be convinced to get three. So 3 ice snakes to battle 1 Snow Cat. Sounds like a fair matchup. So there you go with that. I really think Cobra needs a snow vehicle. So here you go with that. Then keep it moving. We need a Joe vehicle. And I refuse to go any further now with this list without mentioning the Ski-Mobile Polar Battle Bear. And we've got Snow Job, of course. We've got Gung Ho, and we need my guy Flash. So hopefully we'll see him in a few more weeks. But this is a small scale vehicle. Since we already have Snow Job, maybe this is another way to get a retro version of him out there. So we can have Snow Job paired with the Polar Battle Bear. Another option for you. Very small very small footprint. I mean, this is basically the size of your RAM cycle. It does not need to be super wide. It just needs a seat because it's a ski mobile. It's not a massive carrier. This is just something small. And I think this is one vehicle where, yeah, we've got a Joe Snow vehicle in the works. I think this one would further help sell it because people go, all right, well, since you got a Snow Cat, I guess I got to get a polar battle bear too. I know a lot of people in the chat in the comments were going, we still need a polar battle bear. And I'm absolutely in agreement with y'all. We do need this. So hopefully with the Snow Cat momentum, this will be the time where we can get it. Carries 3 Joe soldiers. So little foot peg action here on the other side. And your driver, naturally, I would put Snow Job here. So I feel like this is something that could work. I mean, we got a ram cycle with breaker, streamlined Snow Job again with his skis, his pole, his backpack, and his rifle, and the polar battle bear. Maybe that could happen. So maybe that's something that they could do and keep it relatively cheap, 70 bucks maybe. I think that could work, especially if it comes with Snow Job, since we still need him, since a lot of people still need him. There's an option for you on that end. Let's keep this rolling. And then we got to get a snow serpent. And I know we've got a really awesome and really amazing one already, but I think this one is really just insane with the design. I mean, there's so much color. This was the dying days where it's like, okay, starting to run out of really good ideas, but they had some really awesome designs still to go. And the snow serpent one is just so colorful. You can see it's got the furred section here on the chest. It got around the cuffs and the boot cuffs with the Cobra insignia. I mean, that's just cool. It's got a snowboard, a snake snowboard. I mean, that should immediately make that an essential addition to the line right now. Because I mean, they would have a ball sculpting a snake snowboard, and the colors are just wild and garish. Is this a purple mask? Is it a magenta mask? But the Joker also has a backpack that fires a rocket. That's insane. And there's just that crazy period of time where they were just still coming up with some cool stuff, but you knew it wasn't going to last much longer. And this setup is probably way too big. I bet they can streamline that though, and give us something that's not this insane. But this would be a really fun Cobra addition to the ranks. I mean, we've got really good snow serpents already. We got that original one. We got the retro one. Why not give us version 2? That way we can have a real snow army for Cobra to go in there and battle the Snow Cat as well. Next up, this guy, Avalanche. He's the snow vehicle driver. He's the Dominator driver. He's part of Battle Force 2000, and I know that's kind of divisive for some Joe fans, but I think this could open up some really fun possibilities for the Classified Series team, who I think could make Battle Force 2000 really spectacular. Avalanche is a perfect figure to just throw out there right now in the mix. Maybe he's a character they could put out with the Polar Battle Bear just because he's got a relatively simple outfit. I mean, the sculpting isn't so demanding that the Classified Series team couldn't do it. I mean, look at this design and go, I think this is basically the Viper legs. So that could work. In the boots, they're new, but I don't know if people would quibble too much about just reusing a whole Viper lower half, except for maybe this portion here. But I think he's got a cool design. He's a snow trooper, probably one that's not going to sell really easily on his own. He's one I know some people are going, they could have thrown him in with the HasLab Snow CAT, but I think there's a really good opportunity here to start introducing Battle Force 2000 into the mix and then putting him out with the Polar Battle Bear or another vehicle. And that other vehicle is the Dominator itself. And I mentioned that because I was like, well, okay, what about starting up Battle Force 2000? And there again, you can see this is definitely not a massive vehicle. This is something where they could make it relatively small. I don't think this needs to be anywhere near like a vamp size. I think it needs to be smaller, maybe around the same realm of the Awe Striker, a little bit smaller. I think just because really it's all about putting the Battle Force 2000 battle station together. And I think they could do this if they just kept it relatively small. So the Dominator kind of spreads out a little bit better. And so you can see how it actually comes together. It splits here. So you've got this look, and this is what it looks like when it's separated. So you can see it's the shell. And here you go. So there's your Battle Force 2000 compartment Dominator. Two battle units in one. So you can see here it is all in one. I feel like they could kind of make it work so we can get our future fortress. This is an option for sure. It's a snow tank. It doesn't need to be big. Again, they can keep this one relatively small and then kind of have that play on feature where you can make your first GI Joe classified series combiner vehicle with Battle Force 2000's future fortress. And I think this could work. I don't know if they'd be interested in doing this, but it's certainly an option for them to try and play out. And Avalanche is a good start, and then you could throw in your Dominator as another vehicle. What do y'all think about that option? And then going a little bit more safe, going with Blizzard, Arctic Attack Soldier. Blizzard has one of the cooler designs thanks to this awesome helmet. And he is not too much more than a basic snow job in terms of the sculpting. Yeah, we probably want to get different gloves for him and add some more removable elements with his torso. The patches, I think we can get away with using that from Snow Job, but it's all about that helmet. And he's got a really fun play pattern because his ski rig is something he can actually use as a ski board. He can also ski, of course, and he's just got lots of fun options to play. And you want to have more snow troopers since you've got a big snow vehicle. Flint Lady J and Frostbite and Snow Job aren't enough. So Blizzard would be a great addition. And again, I would love to see what they would do implementing this mask design, probably making it cooler than this original Real American Hero look, which doesn't quite capture how cool this helmet setup was in the card art. Now, home stretch, I feel like these aren't going to be a surprise. Stalker, Tundra Ranger. I know y'all were like, where is Stalker? But I think he's perfectly suited to be a deluxe figure. The kayak is basically an animal companion. I mean, this is relatively the same size of Fiona. I mean, maybe you can make a little snap on compartment to add some more length to it. But I mean, this is a deluxe figure right here. And I wouldn't want them to shortchange it and just give us Stalker. I want the full deal. I want to have the full kayak action. And I mean, there's no way he should be able to actually use this, put it as a backpack. That's crazy. But I mean, as a kayak system, come on, man. This is why G.I. Joe was one of the best toy lines ever. And classified series is just taken it to a whole other level. This would be incredible. And like, oh, look, I found some water in the snow. I'm going to take Tundra Stalker and throw him into the mix. So here you go. And I think this one is just too obvious, too much fun to not do. I'm sure Lenny and the crew are like, how can we do this? How do we make all these colors work? I can't wait to see this. I feel pretty confident we'll see him relatively soon. And then finally, last but not least, of course, Iceberg, the snow trooper. I mean, this guy loves the snow. He hates hot weather, unlike Snow Job, who can actually get cold in the snow. Iceberg says, bring it on. And this dude is my guy. He's in one of my favorite G.I. Joe episodes of Lifeline. He's literally taking on Cobra by himself at the end and just doing his thing. The less said about him turning into a seal or a killer whale, the better. Well, let's focus on this version of him. He looks cool. He is an amazing looking character. He's a Snow Joe. And every time I take my Snow Job out there, I'm like, man, if only Iceberg were out here with them. So we definitely need to get this guy. He would be, I mean, he's just too obvious not to include here. I mean, it's the snow trooper action. Give him a snowboard, give him a little bit more. But I mean, geez, we don't get Iceberg. We don't see him at Comic-Con render form or straight up prototype. I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. But that's not all of them, of course. There's so many more snow characters, so many snow vehicles. I didn't mention a few more like Sub-Zero, Arctic Blast with wind chill. That's something I was like, oh man, that could be easy. But I figured let's keep the Joe vehicles at a minimum here. Let's focus on some other stuff. So we got that, and of course the Ice Snake I think is amazing. So we'll see if we can get that into the mix. But that's what I'm thinking for complementary figures and vehicles to go along with the Snow Cat. If we see one, if we see two or three, I'd be ecstatic. So hopefully we'll see something. Let me know what you want to see at Comic-Con to tie in to complement our Snow Cat, which we know is coming. And let me know as always what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This episode of House Figure Files has been filed.